Most people watching the global news right now are anxious about the wars, oil price spikes, currency instability, and honestly, for most countries, moments like this usually end badly. But every now and then, the world breaks in a way that creates an opening for someone who was quietly ready. And strangely enough, that may be exactly what is happening to Africa right now. Because while the world is focused on measures flying across the Middle East, something far more important is happening underneath the headlines. The global energy map is being reshuffled in real time. Just 5 days after the Iran war escalated in March 2026, global jet fuel prices exploded by more than 100%, hitting record highs as traders realized one terrifying possibility. The old supply routes the world depended on were no longer guaranteed. And here's the part almost nobody expected. Iran, despite being at the center of the conflict, actually increased oil exports during the early phase of the war. Meanwhile, some of the region's traditional export giants saw shipments collapse. That sudden instability forced governments, airlines, traders, and energy buyers across the world to begin exploring alternatives. And almost accidentally, one of those alternatives was sitting in Lagos, because while the Gulf corridor was under pressure, the Dangote Refinery was exporting jet fuel to Europe and gasoline across Africa at scale. Think about how significant that shift is. Just a few years ago, Nigeria was spending between 14 and 16 billion US dollars importing fuel, despite being one of Africa's largest oil producers. Now, in the middle of one of the biggest global energy disruptions in recent history, the same country suddenly owns one of the most strategically important refineries outside the Middle East. And the timing could not be more remarkable, because this is all happening right before the Dangote Refinery IPO. In fact, between late 2025 and mid-2026, estimates for the refinery's valuation reportedly jumped from around 20 to 25 billion US dollars to as high as 40 to 50 billion US dollars. Not because war is good, not because Africa planned this, but because global instability created unintended economic consequences, and the world suddenly started valuing energy security very differently. The International Energy Agency has already warned that supply losses from the Gulf pushed global inventories towards critical levels. Goldman Sachs reportedly described the disruption as one of the largest supply shocks in modern energy history. And when the old system becomes unstable, the assets that suddenly look reliable become extremely valuable. This raises a massive question for African investors. Did the world just reposition the Dangote Refinery from a Nigerian industrial project into strategic global infrastructure before the IPO even begins? Because if that's true, then this listing may be far bigger than most people currently realize. And to understand why, we need to go back to where this story started, before the measles, before the price spikes, before any of this. Because the difference between what the Dangote IPO was 12 months ago and what it has become today is the whole story. So let's go back to 2025. No war, no supply shock, no record jet fuel prices. Just a refinery in Lekki that was about to change everything. At least that's what people thought at the time. And the story people were telling about it was compelling, but it was a Nigerian story. The pitch was simple. Nigeria, one of Africa's largest oil producers, has spent decades doing something embarrassing. We are drilling crude oil out of the ground, shipping it overseas to be refined, and then buying it back as petrol, diesel, and jet fuel at a premium in dollars we had to earn through exports. In 2024 alone, Nigeria spent a record 15.42 trillion on fuel imports. That's roughly 14 to 16 billion US dollars gone every single year, just to power a country that was sitting on some of the richest oil reserves on the continent. The Dangote Refinery was supposed to end that. And by February 2026, it did. The refinery hit its full capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, making it officially the largest single-train refinery in the world. By March 2026, it was already supplying 92% of Nigeria's daily petrol needs. So the original investment case was strong. Real numbers, real impact, a genuine solution to a problem that had been bleeding Nigeria for decades. But here is what the original narrative was not about. It was not about Europe. It was not about global energy security. It was not about what happens when the Middle East becomes unreliable. Analysts were modeling and valuing the company based on its domestic fuel demand, import substitution, and naira dynamics. The IPO was being positioned as the largest listing in African history, up to 10% of the equity, a fundraise target of around $5 billion US, managed by Stanbic IBC Capital, Vertical Advisory Services, and First Cap. Big deal, right? Historic deal, but still at its core, a Nigerian deal. And then one moment changed the entire frame. On December 10th, 2025, at a corporate presentation at the Eco Hotel in Lagos, Uncle Aliko Dangote said something that every Nigerian investor and African investor in that room needed to hear. He said, "You buy in naira, but you get dividends in dollars." Let us sit for a second. In a country where currency devaluation has quietly destroyed the real returns of too many investments, Dangote was offering something unusual. You invest in naira today, but because the refinery is backed by a projected $6.4 billion in annual export revenue from petrochemicals, fertilizers, and refined products going to international markets, your dividends come back in hard currency. Think of it like a currency machine. Naira goes in at the IPO price, dollar comes out when dividends are declared. That announcement alone made this IPO different from almost anything retail African and Nigerian investors had seen before. But even with all of that, the record capacity, the dollar dividends, the historic fundraise, the story was still being told as a Nigerian infrastructure play. It's just like a neighborhood bakery built to make sure Nigerians finally had bread on the table. But what nobody had fully priced in yet was what happens when every other bakery in the district or globally shuts down. That is exactly what the Iran war did. And that is what we need to talk about next. You see, on February 28, 2026, the Iran war started, and almost immediately the world had a fuel problem. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that 1 in every 4 barrels of oil in the world passes through, became restricted for Western countries. That route was effectively closed. Brent crude jumped from $72 to $126 per barrel in 1 month. Goldman Sachs was warning $115 USD. The International Energy Agency said global stock prices were hitting critical lows. The world needed fuel, and it needed it fast. Now, here is where it gets interesting for us as African investors. When buyers across Europe started looking for alternatives, where did the map point them? Lagos. In April 2026, Dangote exported 272,000 metric tons of refined products to Europe in a single month. France was buying, Spain was buying, the UK was buying. British Petroleum, BP, one of the biggest oil companies in the planet, was chartering ships from Lagos to Rotterdam. BP chartering ships from Lagos, guys. That's mind-blowing. That's what Uncle Aliko did for Africa. If someone had told you that 5 years ago, you would have laughed, guys. You would have laughed seriously. And it wasn't just Europe. Ghana, Mozambique, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Tanzania, Togo, African governments that had never seriously looked to Nigeria for fuel was suddenly sending orders. Dangote said it himself in April 2026. In the last couple of days, we have been looking to most African countries, which we are not doing before. That quote alone tells you everything. The refinery was built for Nigeria. The world turned it into something bigger. But here is what matters most for investors, and this is the part I don't want you to miss. Europe didn't start buying Nigerian fuel just because it was an emergency. They started buying because they had realized they could no longer plan around the Middle East the way they used to. That's not a temporary decision. That's a supply chain rethink. There's a difference between a panic purchase and a structural shift. What you are seeing with Dangote right now looks more like the second one. Now, the Middle East or Iran is just one part of the story, because the truth is this pressure didn't start in 2026. It has been building for years. And what the war did was not, create a new problem. It exposed an old one. The global energy system was already leaning heavily on a few key suppliers. And right now, those suppliers are all under pressure at the same time. Russia is one of the biggest oil and gas exporters in the world. But since the Ukraine war and the sanctions that followed, a large part of its energy trade has been restricted from Western markets. So even though oil is still flowing, the system around it, buyers, logistics, pricing routes, has been under strain for years. And China, the largest economy in the Brics bloc, is not an exporter of energy. It consumes massive amount of it, which means it cannot balance global supply when things go wrong. So when you step back and look at it, something unusual becomes clear. The countries people often think of as the new energy powers are either under sanctions, in active conflict, or dependent on imports themselves. At the same time, demand has not slowed. Airlines still need fuel, factories still need energy, countries still need diesel, petrol, jet fuel every single day. So when supply becomes unstable at the top level, the system doesn't wait. It looks for alternatives, which brings us back to Lagos, Nigeria. What started as a domestic refinery story is now sitting inside a much larger gap in the global system. And that gap is exactly what changes the IPO conversation. The refinery is winning, the exports are real, the demand is real, the shift is real, but you're not buying the refinery, you are buying shares in it, and those are two very different things. So let's talk about what this IPO actually looks like as an investment. The valuation has already moved from 20 to 25 billion US dollars in late 2025 when I last did my research around it, to 40 to 50 billion US dollars today. Now here's the tension every investor needs to sit with. So analysts have a bull case valuation of 60 billion US dollars, arguing that the current estimate doesn't fully account for what it means to be the only major energy supplier available to buyers whose other sources are either sanctioned at all or not exporters at all. But other analysts are warning that this IPO is launching at the exact moment excitement is at its highest. And when excitement is high, people overpay. Both of those views can be true at the same time. What we know for certain is this: the refinery is generating between 8 and 12 billion US dollars in annual revenue at full capacity, with operating profits of between 3 and 5 billion US dollars. And beyond just fuel, the polypropylene plant alone, which produces plastic raw materials that manufacturers across the world need, adds another extra 3 to 5 billion dollars in value. Middle East disruptions have made polypropylene extremely scarce globally, which means demand for Dangote's output is coming from multiple directions at once. And then there is the dollar dividend, which we already covered. Naira in, dollars out, backed by 6.4 billion US dollars in projected annual export revenue. Now, practically, how do you actually get into the company or into buying the shares? Well, if you're in Nigeria, the subscription will go through the NDX, Nigerian Stock Exchange. Basically, they also have a platform called the NDX Invest Portal Online. You don't need any paper forms. If you're in diaspora, no Nigerian bank account, no BVN, no problem. Platforms like My Stock Africa allows you to participate and fund your account through USDT, Wise, or Revolut. The minimum investment hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but based on how Nigerian IPO have historically worked, expect somewhere between 10,000 and 50,000 naira as a retail entry point. That's just my thesis. I mean, it has not yet been confirmed. One more thing on timing, guys. You may have heard August 2026 as the subscription window. The more recent reporting suggests that after securing around $2 billion in private pre-orders, including $100 million from Femi Otodala alone, the launch has shifted to around September 2026. So you want to prepare in August and expect the buy button in September. But before you do any of that, there are real risks you need to understand, and I'm not going to skip them. Talking about risk, the biggest risk to this investment is not the Iran war ending, because that's what some of you guys would think. It's not oil prices dropping. It's not even the valuation being too high. The biggest risk to the Dangote Refinery IPO is Nigeria itself. Think about it. This refinery operates inside a country where government policy can change overnight, where a single regulatory decision can affect how much crude the refinery can access, what price it sells fuel locally, and whether export revenues can be freely repatriated. The Nigerian government has historically struggled to keep its hands off businesses that become strategically important, and the refinery supplying 92% of national petroleum and exporting to Europe is about as strategically important as it gets. There is also the crude supply question. The refinery needs Nigerian crude to run, and Nigeria's oil production has been consistently below its own target for years due to pipeline vandalism, theft, and infrastructure decay. If crude supply becomes unreliable, the machine slows down. And if the machine slows down, everything we just talked about, the export revenues, the dollar dividends, all of it gets squeezed. Now, yes, the other risks are real too. Oil is cyclical. A ceasefire in Iran, which is, currently ongoing, could ease prices faster than anyone expects. The valuation has already doubled, and the question of how much upside is left is legitimate. There is significant debt on the balance sheet, and the IPO timing has shifted before, and it can still shift again from September to maybe another date. But those are risks you can model. You can track geopolitics. You cannot always predict what a government will do when it feels pressure. And that is the risk that keeps serious investors up at night with this one. And it is the one most people are not even factoring or talking about yet. So here's where we land, guys. The Iran war and Brics did not create the Dangote Refinery. They revealed it. They showed the world what was already sitting in Lekki, fully built, fully operational and ready at exactly the moment the old system started breaking down. Whether you benefit from that as an investor depends on one thing: understanding what you are buying and at what price and with what risk before the subscription window even opens. And that's it, guys. If you found this video insightful, do not smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's also a link to join my WhatsApp channel where I share real-time market updates of what's happening in Nigeria and the capital markets, investment opportunities, and what's going through my mind when it comes to even investing. And as usual, don't forget to stay sharp, stay safe, and invest wisely. See you on the next one. Be well.